Welcome to Spintown, everyone. I am playing the Nile with Eclipsen, the maker of the map, one of the most classic maps on OCN, and we're going to talk to him not only about the Nile, but a couple of his other maps and his experiences on OCN over the years. Thanks for being here, Eclipsen.
Thank you.
Now, when you made this map, is there like any secrets or tips that I should know about? Like, I've played this so much, I doubt there's anything you're going to tell me that I don't know as far as like hidden things, but just in case, if I've been missing out all these years, I want to know.
Well, there is, in fact, a hidden sponge on the map. Do you know about that?
Is it on top of the mountain that you can't get to the very top of?
It's in the sand somewhere.
It's in the sand. Okay, so I did not know about that. Okay. Well, at least
I
it's not
didn't-
something that helps my PvP, so I'm not missing out in
No,
that aspect.
unfortunately. There's the power bows inside the towers and on top of the buildings. You know about those, probably.
Yes.
I guess everyone knows about that, so...
I do not play this map very often if I can't get my power bow. I need it.
Yeah, it's very good. But actually, a fun thing about that sponge, I wasn't even the one who placed it, and it's only like a year ago that I found out about it because someone showed it to me.
Oh, so who placed it? Do you know?
I don't know, man. Like someone, dude.
Just...
Because I'm making my maps on the official map dev server by Pixel.
Okay,
I don't know if it still exists though, but
so basically a map dev decided to hide something in your map without telling you, is what you're saying?
yes, a sponge. So it's like not a harmful thing, so I don't mind it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's something I definitely didn't know about, and man, hopefully we have some people playing defense here because I am not going to be a good defender when I do this interview because I will be constantly looking at questions and stuff off the screen. So, oh no.
So man, it's gone, man.
Oh well. Good thing that you've made a number of other maps that are pretty
Okay.
awesome that we can check out too. But this is one that's definitely the most famous. So, well,
Yeah,
we'll
for sure, man. Let me see. What do you want to try out?
Well, we'll stop recording and come right back once we decide what we're going to do next. Alright guys, we're back with another one of his classic maps. This is Soviet Mills. And, you know, hopefully this one doesn't go as fast. This one's a little bit harder to rush. So, we'll hopefully get a little bit more into the interview before we get to change maps again. Now, Eclipsen, one of the things I'm curious about is how you got into map making to start with and how you found OCN.
So, which one do you want to hear first here? Those two questions.
Okay, well, how did you find OCN first, I guess?
Alright, so I'm actually from Detroit Stream. You probably heard about it. It's the Community Days thing.
Okay.
Basically, I found Overcast Network because of Twitch. So I was just like, it was a Sunday evening, 4.5 years ago from now. I was browsing Twitch. I think it was just on TV back then. I can't really recall. And I saw a streamer which had Community Day in the description, and it was Detroit who was streaming, and she was setting these maps, and you were supposed to join this mumble, where you would then be assigned to a team and play against other people, which basically, you know, created the idea for PGM, like the plugin, and which later became Ocean Project Hours. And that's and then I started, you know, kind of religiously showing up every Sunday. It was very late for me because she was American, so I had to stay up kind of late sometimes. But I just did not want to miss it. I had so much fun, you know. It was like incredible because you start knowing all these people and fighting and such. Like I had never seen anything like that in Minecraft. I thought Minecraft was just like building. Suddenly you had to like cooperate, destroy objectives. It was like fun, you know. And then one day, some guy, I think it was actually Apple, who then typed in the chat on Twitch, come check out the server, you know, us.oc.tc 1337, you know, the port. And I connected to it, and they were playing harp. And I didn't know what to do really, so I just placed a lot of TNT, and then I got kicked for team grief. So that's kind of sad, because you could actually explode the map back then. Then they crashed the server, and I had it, and I saved the IP, and eventually it became like 24/7. I sticked around with the community till now.
All right. Now, excuse me, man, I got a frog in my throat today. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about the olden days, like as far back as what you were just talking about. And I wasn't around for that, so I kind of missed out, I guess, because it sounds pretty awesome. But I do have the similar experiences, like when I came to OCN, I had played some other mini games, like I'd played Walls, but that was pretty much it. I really hadn't been exposed to much, and the gameplay here was so unique and different that, it did open my eyes to what was possible in Minecraft, and I guess that's one of the reasons I stuck around, just because it was so different. Oh shit! I just about died. All right, so now how did you get into the map making aspect of it, though?
Like, truth be told, it's so long ago, man. I can't really remember, dude. I think it was something like I was invited to a Pixel server because I was a moderator. And then I tried something out, and it was Bridge Over Troubled Water. That was like the first thing I created. I was like, dude, man, I want to make something that nobody's seen before. I'm gonna make some bridges, some tunnels. It's gonna be awesome. And then I was making it, and suddenly a lot of people just tuned, like 4 guys or so, like joined in on the work, and we just started building bridges. And it was just like, it was kind of like a random thing, and it ended up turning into a map where after I had to like look at all of it and kind of, you know, check, all right, is this good, is this not good, etc. And then like what's it called? That fucking the Russian, the admin. Like, this is kind of embarrassing. What is he called? You know him? Like, he's not.
Nope.
Like, he's very old. He's Russian.
Right. I'm not sure.
Man, this is bad. Let me just find him. Let me find him on the website right now. I can't. I hope, like, all right. Hopefully he doesn't see this anyway. So.
Hopefully people don't watch this video.
This is embarrassing right now. But I mean, I just haven't really been in touch for so long. So.
Yeah, I know it happens, especially in
and
Minecraft.
he has such a special name as well. So it's like I just died. Wait. And
nope.
The game ended.
Game ended. So you didn't.
That as well.
All right. So he'll find the name of the person we're talking about, and we'll be back with yet another one of his maps. Okay, we're back, and now we're not going to be playing one of his maps. We're just going to stay on this server and play whatever comes up for the time being, because we've had some maps rushed here recently, and it's just going to keep breaking up the interview anyways. So who were you trying to think of?
Yeah, it was Kasek. Kasek, he's called Kasek. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I should have known that. But it's like he's just been inactive so long, so he can blame himself.
I'm sure he'll understand.
Anyway, yeah, but he did the terraforming on the map, and like the giant mountains you see, he made those.
Oh, okay.
And from there, the map was created. Basically, the story.
All right. Well, some of your maps, I mean, they're just iconic. I mean, you're not the most prolific map maker in the total number of maps that you've made, but the ones you do make seem to do really well in this community. Do you know why that might be? I mean, do you have what's your approach, or why do you think that is?
I try to always aim for something different. I look at the meta of the maps. I see that a lot of the maps, and you have probably also seen this yourself, a lot of the maps remind a lot of each other.
Yes.
It's a basic format. You have the score thing. You have a void gap. Note, like, pay attention. All of my maps, except for Bridge Over Troubled Water, no void. I think that's a big difference from my maps. I think that's the biggest difference. The fact that there's no void at all. And it's because and it's kind of ironic because I really like void. I like maps like, sky traffic and such. And these maps where you have to like build a lot in the void. I really like those. But I was like, there's so many of them. I gotta make something else, And, I like to also keep them open. I feel like a lot of maps, they turn into this kind of, you have like this bridge in the middle, like we see right now. Mm-hmm. And it's mostly just that. And you just like run in and you kind of just run in over and over, die, come back. It's kind of sad, And it's very stale gameplay. So I try to switch it up. No void at all. You can attack from all sides, from everywhere, from the, the air, underneath, the ground, etc.
Yeah, and there are quite a few cookie cutter maps where it's just like they take the same formula and put a new coat of paint on it, basically. And I never really noticed or looked at your maps that specifically in relation to those type of maps. But yeah, you definitely seem to take a different approach in that regard to everybody else, which is good, because if you don't try something new, that's all you're going to get is cookie cutter maps. Yeah, I mean.
Exactly. I mean, I just try to create something else and also another thing, I mean, I only make big maps. I haven't made anything that's less than 50v50 also. I don't know if you paid attention to that.
I have noticed that, and I happen to love the bigger maps usually, so that's probably
Exactly.
why I.
Unfortunately, that like they're not really getting filled up anymore. But
Mhm.
uh, and that's also why we see them being rushed in your video right now. The fact that like they are like they're so big and they're not playing very well in this type of like with this amount of players. But I just like big maps, and they're just a favorite of mine because I think you can do so much on them. It's a map that has room for like people to be both very competitive. Like if you're good, if you have like if you know of the map, you can really excel at it. But at the same time, it's also friendly to watch. Like the more casual player that doesn't know that much. It's just that I just want to leave the options open, and I think I can only really do that on big maps. I can't do the same way on small maps that often ends up in like you have one bridge and you just fight over that.
Yeah, your maps having them so big does it allows a lot of freedom for the people. Like on the Nile, I'm going to take that as an example because I've played that a number of different ways over the year. When I first started playing it, one of my favorite things to do was take over the mountain on the other team's side and just snipe them and annoy the heck out of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, you wouldn't really think that's
Yeah,
being.
like you can make like a fast, quick attack from the harbor. You can go to the very left of the map, attack from there, climb behind their iron, kind of
Mhm.
ambush. You can sneak around in the enemy mines. You can actually tunnel. I've seen people trying to tunnel. That's creative. Underneath the water, you can do a sky bridge. You can just attack straight on. Like there's so many ways you can do it, and that's what I like about specifically the Nile and a lot of my maps. The fact that you can just like attack from so many angles. You can do so much. I want to leave the player with as many options as possible because to me, this game excels when it comes to trying to spark the creativity in the player's minds.
Yeah,
Like,
and not
um,
just attacking too, but on the Nile, it allows so many options for defense too. It's my favorite level to play defense on, just because there are so many different things you have to defend.
oh yeah,
So,
exactly. And there's also like it's also one of the most defended maps actually out there. It's kind of ironic that it got rushed this time around, but you see these crazy defense. I've seen people make these huge community projects.
uh huh.
I mean, I can send you some after this video, and you can like edit it in. You decide, I don't know, but I've seen people make these huge boxes of wood, like completely covering up their side with wood. It's weird. I've seen people completely tearing down all the buildings
Oh yeah, I
in
do that
all
all
the
the time.
stands.
Yeah.
Like and I just think that's amazing to see that people can actually get together on the map and you know but I mean that's the point of it. I try to like leave it open. I try to like make it easy to get to the monuments and such, so it's easy for the like the new player, but also the more experienced player to get around, move around. And that's what I just generally try to do with my maps. I want to leave the players with as many options as possible. And that's also like this is just my personal opinion, but this is why I really hate maps where you can't build or they really try to force the gameplay.
Hmm.
To me, a good map is where you can do whatever you want.
Okay. If you want to send me something, I will definitely look at it and maybe just put a couple clips in or
Yes,
screenshots.
sure.
So I'll be happy to look at that afterwards and include it in the video. Okay, so next question here I want to get to is all right. So when you're creating your maps, do they always end up what you envisioned at the start, or do they like change a lot through the building process from the original vision that you had?
If you see how big they are,
Yeah.
you can tell that I usually have a idea, but it's just like I just feel like I never have enough space, so I always have to expand. Like I always envision it to be 50-50, but sometimes it gets too much. Kind
Hmm.
of like Corrupted Kingdom that ended up being 75-75 because just keep getting ideas, just keep seeing new possibilities, and that's how it should work. But obviously, I have a vision when I first wanted to make the Nile. The Nile you see now, that's pretty much like the exact image I had in my head of how I wanted to make it, right? Obviously, I wanted the lake to be a bit bigger, but that would be bad for gameplay. It's not fun to like have pure water PvP. So like I stripped things that like that might not follow my picture for the sake of gameplay.
All
That's the
right.
kind of steps I take. I limit myself in in the name of like the gameplay, so speaking.
All right. I am like right next to their core, and I'm gonna go AFK. Look at my question, so I'm about to die. Um. Okay. When you're making these maps, it seems to me, at least, looking at the ones on the site that you prefer to work solo for the most part. Is that correct?
Not entirely. I'm just all right. So I saw that. Yeah, like so you're probably wondering why it's only just most of my name. It's because like I am kind of the philosophy that the guy who's mainly behind, like the guy who came up with the idea, the guy who mainly like did 60, 70, 80% of the work should be credited, right?
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that I don't have people who gave me feedback, who helped me out with the maps. I have a ton of people, but if you do slash map on my maps, you'll also see a lot of people in the contribution part.
Okay. See, I didn't do that. I just basically looked at
No, like
the map
yeah,
listing on
no,
the
like it's
section.
just that I just seen these maps where I see like 5 different map creators. I'm like, who the hell's made this, man? Like I want to know who was the main head behind it.
Yeah.
And I also have like a couple of maps where I shared Iron, I think yeah, like Iron Harbor, right?
Hmm.
And also Soviet Mills. Those are credited with other people because they were created like equally. But when I'm mostly behind the work, I take the credit and I put those as contributors.
I
It's
kind of
just like because that's how I want other people to do it as well. I hate when I see like 5 different map makers because I know not all 5 of those, and it's more like, oh my god, you didn't put me. Why you gotta be like that, man? It's gonna be like that. Like it's just no.
Yeah, I kind of wish more people would do that as well. Because like when I would put the post in the forum about wanting to interview people, I'd go to a map I like and somebody'd want to interview, and there'd be like 3 or 4 people listed, and then I'd try to contact them all, and then somebody will message me back saying I really didn't have anything to do with that map
So
hardly.
exactly. So like so a guy as an example like Soviet Mills, we just played a couple like not that long ago.
Hmm.
Anxious, one of the head developers of Overcast Network, and one of the coders who started together with Apple, did the terraforming in that map. But because he only did the terraforming, some of the terraforming, I only added him as a contributor. Whereas Einar, since he was like with me through the entire process, he got credit. Same thing with like the Nile. There's a couple of people who like helped me with the building style and who helped me with terraforming and such. They're getting credited as contributors, right? But I don't give them I don't give them author credit because they're not the actual author. They're just like more contributing.
Hmm. I guess a lot of people. I guess the reason they probably do that is just because they're afraid of hurting feelings or whatever. When there's really no need to. I
Yes,
mean,
exactly. I see that a lot, and like I think it's bullshit. Like,
hmm
yeah, a lot of times it's just like, oh my god, like I don't want to let my friend down. Let me just give him credits. You want that blue asterisk.
yeah, that is kind of fancy. I've kind of wanted one of myself, but I've been too lazy to make the actual maps to get it. I've made one, but it didn't go so well. What game mode do you prefer to make for the most? Like, do you like to make the destroy maps, team deathmatch? Uh, what's your favorite to design for?
If you look at my maps, you will quickly reach the conclusion that I like to make DTM and DTC maps.
Yes.
Soviet Mills, the Nile, Irongate Harbor, Corrupted Kingdoms, Scorched Grove, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Spaceship Battles 2.
Is there a reason for that preference? I mean,
think
what's more
are
fun?
they are the ones that allow the most like the most creativity. I think as I said before, like I want to spark the creativity in the player, and I feel like the only way, like I feel like that's the game mode that is the most fun for me to play in this because I think it just has more depth than any other game mode. Like you have like you have these team deathmatch maps, and a lot of them they restrict building. That's so sad. I think it's so dull. I'm like, when you restrict building on a team deathmatch map, why not it's not like why even play Minecraft then? There's so many other games that do this better. Like you gotta work with what the game has to offer. It's just like a cheaper version of like any other FPS games out there,
Hmm.
that has close combat. So that's also why, like, look at Battle of Lyndanisse. I try to give people the ability to build. Like I even like let those pre-built castles there.
Yeah.
So people can do stuff. They can take different objectives, fight for them. I even made a tournament edition of it where you can make cannons and such on a flat map. Like that's like weird. It's almost weird because like if you notice, like all cannon maps, they're like there's void. There's not void in that map.
Yeah.
which is like just how my maps work. Pretty much no void except for what's it called, bridge or troubled water. But yeah,
All right. Well, I want to
as
point
go
out
ahead.
two things before we go on. I always apologize for the poor gameplay in these interviews simply because I'm distracted the whole time. I'm just basically walking around going AFK, shooting arrows here and there.
Oh
But I
yeah,
also
sure. I do the same, man.
but I also want to point out that before we did this interview, I hope you don't mind me saying this, you mentioned that you didn't think you'd have much to say, yet so far, you've given a lot of insight that a lot of other people may not have gotten into. So you've done an extremely good job as far as like bringing up things I didn't necessarily know or expected you to say. So I thank you, and just wanted to let you know, don't worry about it. You're doing awesome.
Cool, man.
Next. Now, okay, this one I don't know for sure, but I think I know what your answer is going to be based on what you said so far. Do you just like designing for the casual player or the competitive the most? I'm guessing you
Yeah.
kind of try to do for both since you
I
try
do
to
it
do
for both, exactly.
Yeah.
As pointed out earlier, I want to make it simple. I want to let people know this is the objective, this is where you find it. Some maps it's been hard to do, but I always try to let like the casual player get around. Then I also offer opportunities for the more advanced player. Like I like to give people who know the map small advantages.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Nile. You have these power bows. Kind of like I don't know, Soviet Mills. You have like those power bows as well. Irongate Harbor has a ton of stuff, and so on. Like also even like Bridge or Troubled Water has like diamond in the middle. I just like to give these small little things to people who know the map. Like so people who come back and play it again, people who explore the map. I want to credit people who explore. Obviously, in the end, it's just gonna be like I know where this is. I'm just gonna go there straight away. But like for people to find that stuff, they need to explore the map. Even like, and this, like even corrupted kingdoms have like a lot of stuff that you can pick up here and there that gives small advantages. I'm all about that. As I said, I want to let people explore my work. I want them to get around the map. I want to make every part of the map have some kind of a use. Like, yeah, I'm not usually when I build something, I want to give it all a purpose.
This is going to be a question I ask later on, or at least I get into a little bit, is like one of my more proud moments in this game, and we're going on to Totally World War II next, is playing Corrupted Kingdom. It was a full map. It wasn't like, 10 people on each side, so it was rushed since it was a huge map. It was a full map, and they had time to set up defense. I got all 3 monuments 100% breaks. That's like one of my more proud moments in this game. And it's one of your maps, so.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Let's see.
When it's full, at least.
Yeah, when it's full. I mean,
It's like, I saw that you really want to play it now, but it's very bad with so few players on it.
well, we don't have
It's
to
like-
if you don't want to. I mean, if people
Yeah,
want to see.
I don't think it does the map justice.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I understand that.
Same
If
thing with this map. A lot of my maps are not like, I don't think that they're given like a lot of times like they play not as they should because of the players that are playing it, because it's just not intended for the like 12, 3, 11.
Yeah, and if people really want to see footage of like Irongate Harbor that's done right, or Corrupted Kingdom that's done right, there's plenty of stuff out there on YouTube. I've got Corrupted Kingdom videos, I think, up. I don't know if I got one just like that's all Corrupted Kingdom. It's probably like a montage video or something that has a bunch of other maps, but
Yeah.
it's out there, and you should watch them if you haven't played them. Actually, you should play them while you have the chance, since the server's shutting down.
Like this map has so much depth. Like just try to go around, open the different crates, try to explore the map. There's so much to it. And I mean, there's so much that I even forgot things that exist in this. I made this together with Kuipen. He went absolute crazy with this. Like this was like just like a free build start. This is not, nothing has been taken, but the style itself is inspired by a YouTuber. He's called Madness64. I don't know if you know him.
Nope.
Definitely go check him out if you know him, and you'll see. Like nothing here is taking from him. It's just inspired. I just wanted to send that out there if you guys didn't know about him. Madness64, amazing guy. I don't think he makes videos anymore, unfortunately, but he did this kind of style of building, and this is kind of like a tribute to him. I think if you do a map, you'll also see there's a ton of contributors, and Madness64 is also under there, building design and inspiration. And look at the amount of contributors. Look, that's so many people goes over it. Feedback, building design, aesthetics. post-processing help, XML, etc. Like, people help so much, but like, wouldn't it be kind of irritating if you saw all of these players as authors, you know?
Oh yeah, totally.
Exactly. So that's just what I'm going at. It was mainly me and Cobb built it, but all of these guys helped in some way, shape, or form.
If you guys want to see more of my interview with Eclipsen, just click this annotation or the link in the description below. See? Now you're sorry you turned those annotations off, aren't you? Yeah, you had to go looking through the description. You couldn't just click on it in the video like some people. Nah, because you had to turn it off. You're too good for my annotations.